why is my tattoo? So this patient, thank you big time, by the way, if you're out there, where I'm going to show the photos. So the photo's there. Don't worry, Instagram, it's coming. There it is. Okay, so this patient has been in touch to say, and I remember this because I was there when the emails were there. And basically what she said, she sent an email with a photo of a tattoo. So if you've got a tattoo and you're worried or wondering if it can be removed, by all means, send us a photo. We get quite a lot of photos, and very happy to give an opinion by photo, as it were. And we said, no, we can't remove that by excision. It's on the shoulder for those in audio, because this is going on the podcast. Yes, you heard me. We've got a podcast, so get on the podcast if you haven't already, if you really want more of this. But anyway, it's on the podcast. Anyway, it's a tattoo on the shoulder, and it's quite wide. It's a bicycle on the shoulder. If you're listening on the podcast, get onto Facebook and you can see it. I'm not sure of Instagram. Can you see it after the event on Instagram? I'm not sure. But anyway, and we said, no, we can't do it. And then she emailed back to say, how come you can't do it? I've seen you do one on a forearm, which looks bigger than mine. And, you know, what's going on? So I said, look, say to her, if she doesn't mind letting me show it on the Q&A, I'll talk about it on the Q&A. So here we are. So there are two reasons why this is not suitable, whereas I'm not sure what the forearm one they were talking about was, but I'm assuming there was one on the forearm. We've had a couple, haven't we? Was one like that on the forearm, or was it there? All these fireworks and stuff. Anyway, so the two reasons this one is not suitable, where perhaps another one of a similar size somewhere else might be suitable, is number one, the location of it. So the shoulder has not got as much spare skin as the forearm. There is not as much. I've got to be honest, it's not a huge amount of laxity on the forearm, to be fair. But there's more laxity on the forearm than there is on the shoulder. The shoulder is also, did I say two reasons? So that's three reasons. So the second reason is shoulder is a bad place for scarring. So the shoulder is prone to what we call hypertrophic or keloid scarring. So we would err on the side of not giving you a scar on the shoulder if we could avoid it, because there is a risk it could give you an ugly scar. So not as much spare skin, ugly scarring. And then the other one, and well, not the main one, they're all main ones actually, is the orientation of it. So the orientation is really important. So if you're doing something on an arm or a leg, ideally you want to do longitudinal excision. You don't want to do a transverse excision. So this scar is transversely orientated. It's orientated like that. And there is much less laxity in that direction than that direction. Having said there's not that much laxity on the shoulder anyway, there's a lot less laxity in an up-down direction than there is in a side-to-side direction. So if you had, I don't know, like writing or something, if it was going in a sort of a long ways, that's better than if it's going in a side-to-side ways, particularly sort of around the elbow and stuff, because side-to-side it's going to break. It's going to potentially break down when you bend your elbow, whereas long ways, it's not going to do that. So, you know, that, to be honest with you, it's not just one, it's all of those reasons. So if it was the same tattoo, the other orientation, I would still say no, because it is too big and it's a bad place for a scar. So I'm really sorry. And I've got to be honest, the majority of tattoos that we see are unsuitable, which I sort of feel bad about, but it's I can't, it's can't do anything about it. They're too big, usually too big on a bad area. So French Libra Exo says, how about a thigh tattoo? So a thigh is better than a shoulder, French Libra, no question about it. A thigh is better than a shoulder. And again, depends on the size, because often they're quite big on the thigh. So, you wouldn't want to do a massive one, but something this sort of size on the thigh might be a goer, especially if it's longitudinally orientated. If it's orientated down the length of the thigh, might be a goer. Might need a sear excision. Not going to say too much about that, because that's one of the questions later on. Don't want to cannibalize my own questions. Cannibalize the word? Anyway, don't want to sort of compete with my own questions. Yeah, I don't think cannibalize is the right word. But anyway, so yes. So yes, the thigh, there is a bit of laxity on the thigh, French Libra. But the shoulder really is not good. So we get a lot of these big shoulder ones, these big ones on the shoulder, and they're all a no-no. And I'm really sorry that this one was a no-no, because clearly this patient's had laser therapy and it's not really It's not really done the trick, has it? It's sort of faded it, but it's not really done the trick.